Rosann, we've known each other for 3 decades.
Yes, a long time.
And you have been a professional counselor.
As you have been a professional counselor, how many people have we known in Hong Kong?
Yes, quite a lot.
So many different people.
And so many changes.
And that's why we want to think about women now and women then, and how women have changed over these years.
That must be very interesting.
Yes.
And it covered different generations.
Always.
Well, if they're interested in what we are talking about, how are they going to find us?
They're going to find us Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, PsychoAlchemy. We are Women Now and Then.
See you there.
Talking about the now. How do women of today deal with mothering?
Yes.
How do the daughters who are in their 30s and 40s deal with their mothers? And then we have teenage girls coming up. So we have the now is maybe 3 generations of mothers, or possibly 4, because the women in their 50s and 60s are also caring for, having relationship with women in their 70s, 80s, or 90s.
Yes.
So there might be 4 generations of women.
Yeah.
I think it's, first of all, it's important to say there's many different kinds of mothers. There are many, many women who want children. Not all do not want children, but many want children.
Yes.
And feel that that's part of their identity, to be a mother. There are many women who wish they could be working wish they could be full-time moms, but when they get to be full-time moms, they're not so sure this is what they want.
Yeah, it's a tough
but
job.
They have a choice then. They have a choice if they have job skills. So this is one of the dilemmas of our modern adult mature women in their 20s, 30s, 40s. Well, they have relatively young children. Should they be at home with their children? Should they not be at home? It's not an easy decision.
Oh, definitely.
Not an easy decision. For some, it is. For those women who are so sure they want to be the mother of their children, they want to be the present parent. That's clear.
Yeah.
For those girls who are really sure they want a career, that's clear to them.
Yes.
They're happy to share the child care
Yeah.
with their husband or paid others. But most women are somewhere in the middle.
Oh, definitely.
They have inherited the capacity to care and to nurture. But they also have these wonderful small electronic screens that show them all the things that could be bought, all the different kinds of places where they might live,
Yes.
all the vacations they might take.
Right.
So then they look at, should we go to Iceland? Because this would be good for my child.
Yes.
So she's working because she wants to see Iceland, but she also wants her 7-year-old, 9-year-old to see Iceland. So the complexity of feelings has never been so great. When we lived in small villages, when we were on the farm, you couldn't go out to work somewhere
Life
else.
is so simple. You have no choice, right?
You're living on a farm. You're a farmer's wife, or a farmer's daughter, or a farmer's mother-in-law. But you still do the same work. If you're living in densely packed urban areas, you work in a textile shop, you work in an electronic shop. No choice. What we're seeing now is the emergence of a wider middle class where women certainly have choices. One of the big choices is that birth control pill has changed women's lives.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
So you don't have to have children. You can have sex. We'll talk about that another time. Don't worry. Another time. But how do we resolve these issues? Now, we've been talking, for the moment, we've been talking about mothering relatively young children, children in primary school or grade school. There's also an interesting kind of mothering that goes on with teenagers. And when kids go off to university.
Yes.
Wow. And then when they finish university, do they move back in or not? And what kind of mother are you then? And then when they're in their 30s, what kind of mother are you then? So we should be talking about what kind of mother you want to be. Many mothers want some kind of communication going on. So whether the grown-up child or the parent realizes it or not, they come to terms with things they can talk about, like food. Food is a good topic because we can all try Spanish food. We can all try
Japanese
Thai
sushi.
Yes, and it doesn't get into our relationship so much. So food is a good one. Other families do things like family history. They're collecting photographs of the relatives from before and before and before. Some gardening, you know, they have a place they can go and grow vegetables or fruit. So I see the searching out among the adult generation, mothers and children, to find topics that are not emotionally dangerous.
Okay. When you talk about their girlfriends or boyfriends, it's very dangerous.
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Whether they should work or not, whether they should change jobs or not. No. You got to keep things calm.
Yes.
So at least there's some relationship. There's some, but it's very difficult and it's very complex. In any given block, in any given building, there are 30,000 people in some of the buildings in Hong Kong. There are women who want to work. There are women who want to be full-time mothers. There are women who are tired of being full-time mothers. I had 2 clients in the past year who had been working full-time. Their kids were getting to be teenagers, so they wanted to stop their careers.
Okay.
And the question to the counselor was, do you think I'm crazy because I want a relationship with my teenager? No, I think that's fine.
But whether your teenagers want to have a relationship with you
another story.
Another story.
It's gonna. That was my thought. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while to sort that out. But if you feel that strongly, give it a try. But that's a special case. Not too many career women want to stop working.
Very hard to stop. Once you reach that age and you're still working in a corporation, I would say obviously your boss appreciate you and your job satisfaction is pretty high. And I will tell you the truth about Chinese women working. And apart from bringing back the money, have all the freedom to go to Iceland, to Korea, to shopping, I think it's the self-image. Maybe Hong Kong is a very materialistic society, and once you have some extra money, you can wear something popularly. And if just imagine all your secondary school classmates or your university friends, they continue to work in this business world, whereas you stay home. After maybe 5 or 7 years, you can tell the difference. Meaning not just your body becomes bigger, it means you really think that you are not as bright as your girlfriends. And I don't know why. I don't think that is totally true. Mother is a pretty tough job. I definitely don't want to take that as a full-time job. But for those stay-home mother, full-time mother, they will start to compare themselves with their classmates.
Of course they
especially 10 years after you graduate from university, your first or second reunion, you can tell the difference. And some of the mother will come and ask me, I mean, all this motherhood thing, is it worth it? And I think in our last few episodes, we talk about, by then, should I go back to work? And it's so difficult. The women, if they stay home for quite some time, their self-image has changed. They don't think they are smart enough to get into the business world. But at the same time, I will say they become a little bit complacent or quite satisfied. Home is their comfort zone. They don't need to get up every day at 7:30 to do all the makeup and rush to the MTR to get back to work. And I think at that time, motherhood is like whether the woman really love to stay home as a mother, or whether that is an excuse for them to not go back to the society. And the woman has to be very honest. I don't see woman needs to work, to prove herself. But I can imagine if because of not working, she cannot have that financial freedom.
Yes.
That will be, in the long run, can affect her self-esteem.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes maybe men is not careful or not tactful enough, well, occasionally they would say something like, well, come on, you didn't make any money. I'm the only one.
Yes,
That
you might say
kind
it
of-
casually,
Casually,
but
right?
it still hurts.
Right. So come on, and look, you spend so much money on the credit card, and I'm the one that's paying all that. When your self-esteem is low, someone says something like that, it really hurts you, right? And even worse, if your child says something like that, Ben's mother can buy this Nike for Ben because her mom 1/3 of her commission or
Yeah.
yearly bonus already can buy this Nike, whereas you have to ask Dad. Dad is never going to say okay. So I can see, well, mother, it's like, are we non-stop providing for our children? And when can we tell whether we don't do it because we want to be a full-time mom, or we become so laid back and we just don't want to get up and make ourselves beautiful or smart enough to get a job? It's very hard to tell, and can create a lot of dilemma to the husband, to the children.
One would hope, I don't know that some of the full-time moms talk together.
Okay.
Because you got to talk outside of yourself. You talked about the self-concept.
Yes.
You can't always figure out yourself by yourself.
Yes.
But talk to other women.
Talk to those working full-time.
Yeah.
Those, if you have some classmate that have been working in the past 15 years, go to them and they will say, I envy you. You already have a lovely family and you have children. Why go to work? My boss is crazy. But the thing is, the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yes.
So maybe the one way out is find out. Instead of imagining, is always a better option.
Yes,
than
find
you
out.
miss out. Yeah.
Find out.
Okay.
Find out. Yeah. And you might also imagine, if you're the mother with relatively young children or teenagers, what would your mother say if you asked her?
Oh, okay.
What would your mother do? So much of the way we think is actually a reflection of how our mothers thought.
Okay.
We all have the potential to work, to have a career, to learn to cook, to be a mother. We have much more potential than we're using. We all know this. You're using about 10% of your brain, if that. So we have a great deal of potential. But our behavior is influenced by our relationships.
Yes.
So your early behavior was influenced by the person who raised you. If she thought you could do that task, then you would do it. You get the attitude, you can do it.
Yes.
If she criticized you, then you get the attitude of, oh, I can always be criticized. As an adult, you have to learn to overcome some of the behaviors that came as a result of experiences with your mother and your father. The first 3-5 years of your life,
Yes.
mostly your mother and father. Then the preschool teachers and the primary school teachers and so on. When you get to be a teenager, it's wild because there's so many influences on your life. But your behavior is influenced by your experience.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So are you saying, Rosann, no matter what choice you have, if you have this uneasy feeling or like sort of thinking yourself as a failure or whatever negative emotion, maybe it's because of some of the concept, some of the beliefs that you got from your family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe if you are willing to look into it, whether you want to continue working, stay home, be a full-time mom, just willing to look whether this is you talking, or whereas your parents have a how do I say, a secret message always playing at the back of your brain.
That's your experiences. But it's not only your parents. You also inherit. You inherit the propensity towards. Will you argue it? Will you not argue it? Will you use the vocabulary? Will you not? Because your mother is a product of her mother and father and their genetic composition. maybe your grandfather was an arguer.
Yes, you have that
Okay,
too.
comes through. She doesn't know, your mother doesn't know the extent to which she's imitating her father. Your father has a mother and a father, and he got 50% of the genes from each one, 50% of the genes from each one. So you, sweetheart, have 25% of the genes from 4 people who you may or may not know what it was like. But you have that propensity towards. Now, it's the relationship with the mother and father. What happens every day? Do you have a table with the chopsticks all set out, or does each person have to get their own? Do you make up a bed, or you leave it rumpled in? It's okay. Do you sweep the floor, or you wait until Friday to sweep the floor? What were the behaviors that influenced how your mother and how your father approached everyday life? You carry that with you. You talked about your mother being very pretty. I have never seen you at any moment looking sloppy. I have met you in coffee shops, in university classrooms, on street corners. Dorothy always looks great.
Thank you, thank you.
All tied together and organized.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel a bit straggled next to Dorothy. But now I learned today her mother used to look so pretty.
Yes.
There's a book that I was reading. This one, it's a big one because we got
dictionary.
we have some serious readers
Go
among
to the
us.
side. Look at it, how thick.
Now, this is called, you see, She Has Her Mother's Laugh. And it's an exploration of what we inherit. Not directly, but maybe indirectly. Why is it good? It's long. It's long. It's detailed on inheritance. It's very complex. There's nothing easy about this.
Oh my goodness.
But if we want to know where our feelings come from, maybe we ought to be looking at who were our parents and our grandparents and how they handled feelings.
I've got to show.
Is
it clear?
Is there a sentimental grandmother who saved all the beautiful birthday cards or dried the flowers?
Oh my goodness. Is he a psychologist?
He actually writes for the news. He's a journalist.
Oh, he's a
who got
journalist.
very interested in this question of heredity. And so we know that relationships are based on feelings. Where do the feelings come from?
Wow.
Now, this book takes a look at where our feelings come from. So for those of you who do like the more serious reads, this one's good. How about a movie?
Well, honestly, if this kind of size book, I will skip. I really need to go to a movie house in order to relax.
Yes.
And I start watching movie when I was young, greatly influenced by my father again. Yeah, because my father, even though he is from the 20s, he start watching movie when it's silent movie.
Oh,
right,
wow.
right at that time, all those silent movie. And today I was thinking there's so many mother and daughter movie I can talk about. But like last time, I have introduced a relatively classic on Golden Pond. And today I also want to introduce all of you who are much younger than me and Rosann to watch another classic. And this movie actually won 5 Oscars at that time. And that movie was very famous, called Terms of Endearment. And that movie was...
Terms of Endearment is a classic.
Yeah, definitely. You must
Absolutely.
have it somewhere in your house so that whenever you want to really have a good cry, you can dig that out. And that movie sort of like resonance with Rosann's book on She Has the Mother's Laugh. In this movie, the Oscar-winning actress is actually Shirley MacLaine, right? And actually, the daughter is played by Deborah Winger.
Oh.
She was also nominated as Best Actress because in that movie, the mother and the daughter play equally important role. So that's why in one movie, 2 actresses were being nominated, and luckily, well, Shirley got it, and sad for Deborah, she didn't get it. Actually, Deborah also deserved a Oscar.
Wow.
And on this movie is the best movie. The best actor was played by Jack Nicholson.
Uh-huh.
And the why this movie was interesting is reverse. Actually, Shirley MacLaine played the mother role. It's like a crazy, always romantic kind of mother. She didn't know what she wants. Whereas Deborah is a very competent, always take care of the mother kind of role.
Wow.
So I think maybe as you are watching this, you might have similar situation. You are the one that take care of your mother. And in this movie, it's talk about how this daughter had such a wonderful time or hard time taking care of this mother. And this mother and daughter relationship, how at the beginning had created so much tension when the mother didn't play the role of the mother and the daughter had to take over. But then there's a twist. I don't want to talk about the story, otherwise it's going to ruin the movie. And how the relationship changed. And the mother finally take up the mother role to support the daughter in a crisis. And the best actor is Jack Nicholson. So you can imagine, how come there is a man? Is he the father? So this movie, when I saw it in the 80s, actually gave me a lot of insight about mother and daughter relationship. And sometimes in counseling, we also see a lot of mother didn't play her role as a mother. Somehow, no matter what reason, she failed to do her job. And how it influenced the child.
Oh, she's searching all the time.
Exactly.
She's searching, what is she supposed to be? How is she supposed to be?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And today we spent an hour talking about motherhood. Actually, it's so complicated.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's so many things we want to cover, but it's like we only touch the tip of the iceberg. But I hope that today, by talking to you, we start to thinking the traditional role of mother doing everything, teaching you what to do, and sort of set up a role model for you as a daughter to learn how to be a mother or to be a wife or to be a woman is gradually diminishing. I think today's mother is a little bit harder.
Oh, much more difficult.
Much harder. You don't know what you should do, what you should not do. Your mother is not playing the traditional role. So how to learn to be a mother? You don't have a menu, right?
We don't have a menu.
Right, and you don't want to be a robot. So how is motherhood going to be changed? And so what's your reflection on this how motherhood is?
It's complicated. It's complicated.
Yes.
One size does not fit all. But I do see more women trying to figure that out. They not only the early years of childhood, but how do they relate to their teenagers on how many games you can play?
Yes.
Who are your friends? Should the mother get to know the friends of the teenager?
Right.
Whoa.
Can I get into his Facebook?
Yes.
Will he like me?
And then moving on through the university years, how much of the physical good do you buy your child a car when they're going to a university far away? Do you make plans for them to come home once a year? Lots of people of your generation went away for 4 years.
Yes.
No coming back to Hong Kong.
No.
So there had to be some physical separation, but somehow families continue. Now, I think young people want the families to continue, but they don't quite know how to do it. You don't go back to the old village. That's not happening. Chinese New Year,
Forget
don't
it.
go back. You don't go back. So we have to, contemporarily, we need to think, how do we want our new families to be?
Yes.
What do we think mothering should be? It's got to be talked about a little bit more.
Yes.
It's got to be talked about.
So what are we going to talk about next week? Let's think about it, right?
Let's think about it. Let's think about it. We've paid a lot of attention to women.
Yes.
Maybe we should be talking about fathers,
Yes.
men, and raising sons.
Yes.
Yes. Next time.
Next time.